Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm King Sway, and welcome to the latest edition of RPG Horror Stories. Today, we have a story about OP and how some people laughed at them because they tried to make an actual original character that didn't stick with tropes. But the originality and the execution weren't appreciated, which doesn't sit right with me, but we're just gonna get right into the story. It's a short one, but I still want to do it. Here we go. Okay, so this happened a couple years ago. I was exploring D&D pretty heavily at the time, and was always looking for a new table or server. You find a lot of small kingdoms by doing that. People absolutely drunk in the smallest amount of power, like having a Westmarch server. Westmarch, seriously? Westmarch is from Diablo. Anybody that plays Diablo knows that. Anyway. And there was one. It was absurdly organized, even methodically so. But I'm an organized person, so I thought I would fit right in. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Always try to make creative and different backstories and PCs to avoid the same old tropes. And the PC I had in mind was a very old tiefling from the middle of nowhere small village that had some innate healing powers and acted as the village healer for those years. Pretty cool. After her husband of many decades died, she was too bored and decided to adventure like those youngsters do. The Server King absolutely demolished the concept. There were memes about level 1 PCs that kill armies or slay dragons on their backstory. Really? Seriously? And I was basically laughed at until I gave up. I didn't stay too long after that. I don't know if the concept of old PC simply boggled their minds, but thanks, I guess, for trying to do something different. Have fun with your dozens of young variant human fighters. And that is the end of the post. So, you know what time it is now. Okay, so first I want to say dick move on the part of the Server King. Second is, again, dick move. Like, the small-mindedness of it is what gets me. Instead of laughing, why didn't they talk to OP? I don't understand that. If when I'm DMing and I don't like something in somebody's backstory, I try to go over it with them and see what we can do to come to some kind of compromise. Why do you want things this way? What's the point of that? Like, if you're doing it just for what I call cool factor, or as some people call it, the rule of cool, no. But if it's actually a cool part of your backstory that makes sense as to who your character is or what they do, then yeah, I'll bend a little bit on that. And as OP displayed, they were just an old tiefling that just started adventuring because they got bored. They were the village healer. Maybe somebody else came up in the village and learned from them and started being a healer. So there's not really a reason to have two village healers unless, there's a big old village, which it wasn't, because they said they came from a small nowhere village. So with a second healer there, the older healer can go and adventure like the youngsters do, as OP put it. But what got me was the memes about slaying dragons and armies at level 1. Dude, at level 1, you get breathed on and you die. That's the reason why whenever I start an adventure, I start everybody out at level 4 and with max health. That's just me though, but just you laughed at the backstory. Okay, like, you know how much someone can do in justifying a backstory? And they had what I feel is OP had a simple backstory and was laughed at for it. And as I said, that just doesn't sit right with me. I actually like the backstory. It's no different than, like, okay, in 3.5 they had prestige classes, and in those prestige classes you could actually use give up permanent spell slots to have an innate ability that you could do up to a certain amount of times a day. Maybe that was part of the backstory. Maybe that, yeah, I went to 3.5. I told you guys I've been playing for a while, and yeah, I just did that off the top of my head because I have a lot of that stuff, as any player does. I have a lot of that stuff memorized. But like I said, maybe that's part of the backstory, or maybe, you know, maybe they did that signal. No, I meant that system. Or maybe, you know, they were doing something else, and just so many times a day they could heal somebody or lay on hands or something to that degree. And that they got laughed at. That kills creativity. It's dumb, for a lack of a more elegant way to put it. It's just dumb because, okay, every newbie has their wannabe main character dude. Like, you're starting off, you want to be the coolest character in the group, or you want to be as cool as the next guy. You know what I mean? But OP came up with something, I don't want to say ordinary, but it wasn't the special, I'm the legacy, you know, I was born as a chosen one fighter type person. It was just, I'm a tiefling, I have innate healing powers, I use my healing powers to be the village healer. I don't live in that village anymore, I'm bored. Let's adventure. Let me see the world now. And if the problem was that OP was old, I don't see that as a problem. I mean, stat wise, yeah, but that RP wise, that could lead to all kinds of things. But the problem is, I've seen some Discord servers and whatnot. A lot of those are combat heavy and not story heavy. I forget who did the story, but I'm referencing something that I watch other RPG horror story people, and they had a plot hook of trying to go and save this lady's kids or something in the woods, and OP was asking questions to the lady, and the DM was getting mad, like, just go into the woods, and he's trying to RP his character, and then the lady was like, I'll kill you if you don't go. Well, if you can kill us, why don't you go save your own kids? The DM wasn't ready for that kind of RP, and he was just like, you're derailing the whole thing. How am I derailing the whole thing by asking questions? But that's the thing I'm talking about. Like, not to get off subject, it's the RPing aspect wasn't too much, and I think that's what got OP laughed at in both stories, and the one I just referenced and this one I just read. But I'm gonna call it there. If you're new to the channel and you enjoyed the story, think about liking and subscribing. If you're not new to the channel and you enjoyed the story and you haven't yet, think about liking and subscribing. It's a small matter from you guys, but it means the absolute world to me. It does. It lets me know you guys are out there and you are incredibly enjoying my content, and it pushes that content out to new people who, well, you know, try it. They try it, they see the content, and I've actually gotten quite a few people in the comments going, hey, you know, you just showed up in my recommended, I'm glad you did, I like your content, I'm a new subscriber. That kind of stuff, it makes my day. So in the meantime, in between time, all up in the theme time, I'm King Sway, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I do apologize, as I said before, I'm trying to do videos Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I know this is kind of late. I've been working on, I've just put out another book. I will be discussing that in another video. I'm training for an upcoming fight, and my job has me back on 12-hour shifts. Plus, you know, I am still a father and a husband. So I got to find time to do everything, you know. I'm trying to manage as best as I can. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Thank you guys for listening. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.